Google Meet. So before we begin tonight's program, I would like to seek everyone cooperation to give their full attention and best interest. Please be reminded to turn off your microphones during the whole program to minimize distraction during the discussion and maintain the audio quality. So our program will start within a few minutes. We hope that the audience will be attentive and respectful. Thank you for your kind and cooperation. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. All praises be to Allah, the most gracious and conduct the most merciful. We thank Allah for giving us the opportunity to participate in this online program tonight. My name Nurul Izzah binti Muhammad Rafi, Mahala Representative Committee of Mahala Sumayyah, and I will be the MC for tonight's program. Together with us today, our principal of Mahala Sumayyah, Dr. Shamsina binti Muhammad Hanifah, Sister Mia Salihah binti Saiful Habash, our our MRC of Mahala Sumayyah, who will be the moderator for tonight's discussion. Also, we presented our respected speaker, Dato Ustaz Hamidon bin Abdul Hamid, the Director of Center for Islamizations from Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman Kuliah IRPHS. Our dear guests, brothers and sisters, welcome to our online talk, Finding Serenity. So, before we begin our program tonight, I would like to invite Sister Juwaria Sofia binti Muhammad Safi to recite doa. Please welcome.
Are we waiting for somebody or I have to start?
So, the audience, ladies and gentlemen, we begin our session with Surah Al-Fatihah. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's discussion with the topic of finding serenity is primarily related to the mental health topic. In the hectic pace of this present day, the issue of mental health is highly debated as the numbers of people getting affected by mental health issue. Hence, our speaker today, Ustaz Hamidon, will provide a comprehensive and deep discussion into this topic. So, without further ado, I would like to pass the floor to very one moderator to begin the discussion. Please welcome Mia Salihah binti Saiful Habash.
All right, thank you, Sister Izzah. Am I audible? Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum and good evening, everyone. Thank you. Welcome to our program, Finding Serenity. So, dear audience, through this night talk, we hope to know the means always in finding serenity through Islamic perspectives. In these past years, mental health issues and awareness have been acknowledged and preached about a large number of society. And compared to previous decade, our people are more open to the idea of mental health. It's a huge issue that should be recognized. And we can see there are tons of messages, steps on self-care, how to combat this issue, how to find inner peace, and many more on the internet. But however, we can see that there is a very few postings on these issues through Islamic perspective. Hence, to enlighten us more on how to seek serenity through the way of Islam, we have together with us Dato Ustaz Hamidon bin Abdul Hamid, Director of Center for Islamization from IRKHS, as our speaker tonight. We are honored to have you, sir, tonight.
Thank you.
And since we are time constrained, we shall start our session now. Can we? So, as the opening question, we shall start with the utmost fundamental and ultimate base of our theme. Each and every person have their says on mental health, but let's zoom into what does Islam says about mental health. If you may answer that, Ustaz.
Waiting for my response?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I didn't really catch the question, but I conjecture that is something to do about mental health, what is mental health, and so on, right?
What does Islam
So,
says about it?
what the
What
Quran
does
say about it?
yes.
Okay. That we presuppose that we all have understood what mental health means. So, thank you very much first for inviting me, Mahala Sophia, and also Dr. Shamsina, for reminding me all the time, and sister as well. Uh, her name is Sister Alia. And I say welcome to all our listener for tonight. And I will not say that I have everything, because no one have complete knowledge of anything. But it is a sharing of experience that I have gained for so long, and the readings that I have done. And basically, like I told you just now, if you are a student now around 20 years old, then you'll be the age of my granddaughters and my grandsons. So I am more like your grandfather. Right. The first thing about mental health, it is something new in the sense that it becomes an area, especially during the COVID time, where you have people killing themselves, throwing themselves, where you have people experiencing what they call it traumatic experiences, not in actual what they call it in actual event, rather experiences that is internal in nature. So some become paranoia and so on and so forth. So the modern medicine and the psychologists consider that as imbalance of the mental state. So, and it means that that's why they call it mental health. So it seems you're not healthy. If your body is physically healthy, then you don't have any weaknesses or any sickness. You feel yourself hale and hearty. They said in the English language, you feel hale and hearty, right? So you feel all good all around. Your body is strong, your stamina is good, your flexibility is good. So then you're feeling okay. Now, in the mental state as well, if you're feeling okay, then you should not be having any stress. You have feeling you're happy with yourself, and you're happy with the people surrounding you, and this is what they consider as healthy in the mind. So when you are faced with stressors, some call it stressors, things that create stress. So the stressors during COVID time is is the thing that you have to be quarantined and to be in the room for so long and so on and so forth. And among the stresses as well is that some people, they like food, so they were not able to get the food that they are used to, and that's what happened as well. Some others has other things which they cannot do in the normal circumstances, and it affect them. Okay, let's say there is no pandemic. Still, within the context of the normal life, there are challenges you are faced with, especially you students, right? For us lecturers, I think they also have stressors. For example, lecturers, they have to do basically three main job or four main job: teaching, researching, publishing the work that they research to, and also supervision of the student. So sometimes in terms of supervision, marking your final exam is only what, about 7 pages to 10 pages, maybe 15 pages. But when they have to edit or to look through or to read through 300 pages of thesis, that's another stress point for them, right? So this is what the lecturer went to. As far as students is concerned, you find that students are in a lot of stress towards the end of the semester when final exam are coming. Okay, so we find that the the clinic we have more people coming in during those times, right? Because it is a stressful time. Okay, so uh, then it will have the mind, when it is not at peace, and when the mind is it's being stressed, you find that it does affect the physical part as well. So people tend to get sick, people tend to have stomach ache, and people sometimes even have ulcer and diarrhea just because of the stress that is in the mind. All right. So that has been discovered, or that has been observed as part of mental health. However, just as an addition, the Kulia of Allied Health Science now has a flagship, and the flagship is about measuring. They don't call it mental health. They call it measuring the mental well-being, right? Well-being. So it's not health, but the overall well-being. So it covers areas, right? Your emotional, psychological, your social, and now they include as well as financial. This can also become stressors to you, right? So the condition of mind is being impacted upon by things that are surrounding you. So you have, for example, like say, emotional, right? If anything happen in your family and so on, it does an impact on the emotion of you yourself, even though you're already in university student. But any problem that you face at home will also have an impact. Any problem that you have in your social relation, including itulah so-called the jiwang-jiwang relation, this sort of thing will also create a problem to you, right? And there's also, people don't include it, right? But psychologists also, the psychological part, which is the internal part of you, right? Sometimes you have unfulfilled hopes, and you feel yourself that you are a failure, that you have not fulfilled the hope that you want to achieve. You would like to have, what do you call it, uh, getting your assignment ready by that certain day. But, things happen, and then you find towards the end, you have 2 days left. And you look back, oh, it was my mistake. If only I've started early, if only. So this sort of thing impinges upon you. Am I good enough at university level? So there is that unsureness. There is that trauma that is facing you. So this sort of imbalances, this sort of impact upon you from outside, right? Financial, I'm quite sure because we know we're feeding 200 to 300 students, almost, the soup kitchen project, the M kitchen, and even the mosque as well, and so on and so forth. We have to have some of this. There are some students that, alhamdulillah, we are able to help. We tell them, no, don't work. We'll pay you, give you food, but don't work because you go to work, you don't have time to study. Some of us have got to work sometimes. Some of the students, especially during the COVID era, during just starting after the COVID, after the quarantine, people can go around, and that is the financial impact as well. So you have a lot of other things. In fact, like I was saying, the surrounding itself, right? So we here, we don't have natural disasters, right? Except for flooding sometimes, right? And then we are, the worst we get is that our Wi-Fi is becoming weak, and we cannot get access easily. But some other people, not only Wi-Fi, even electricity is down, even running water is out, especially during the flooding season and so on. So this sort of situation, of course, we have a negative impact on the peace of the mind, or the kesejahteraan, or the well-being, or the mental well-being. So imagine, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for them in their struggle. May Allah give them victory, our brothers and sisters in Gaza. Imagine yourself in Gaza, being bombed daily, no electricity, no water, and the only thing that comes to you is from your own brothers and sisters from across the border. They bring the water on their backs and so on and so forth from Egypt in the Rafah line. And now there's a complete breakdown in terms of medical services. So you got injured, you become ill, that's it. No medicine, no nothing. So that's the situation now. Okay, so do you expect them to have mental well-being, they don't expect, right? However, this is the thing. There is that difference between the condition of the mind being well or not, being balanced or not, and the condition of the heart. You see, our brothers and sisters over there, even if they die, they say, we'll die shaheed. That's it. We see our brothers who died, their blood are following. We see our brothers who were killed 7 years ago, their blood is still flowing. So these are shaheed, they are alive. So they see it with their eyes. So for them, the idea of acceptance, which we'll talk inshallah later. If you have any other question, if you want me to go through, I will go through until the end, right? What the Quran say, and then what from the Islamic viewpoint. Yes, sister. Sister Mia, you have other question?
Yes, yes. Thank you for that answer. For first question, it's very lengthy and cognitive. So, as much as Islam cares about every tiny bit of Muslims and other communities, it is prevalent among the people that mental illness are sinful, dwelling in the fact that they have mental issue must be something that Allah hates. And to combat this skepticism, may you explain how do we break this stereotype that a person who has mental illness is far from Allah and has a lot of sin and is possessed by jinns?
Oh,
Am I
okay. Uh, People are equating that you will get mental problem, or you have mental illness, or you are not stable in the mind because you are far from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All right. But that might not be the case. That might be, mental illness. What do you mean by them? Let's say, for example, uh, a mother. We know that traditionally we call sometimes when a woman gave birth to her child and so on and so forth. After some time, she become sort of under a stress. We do not know how. Sometimes maybe because of the changes in the biochemical aspect in her body, and then she become depressed, right? And then orang kita dulu kata meroyan gila meroyan, something like that, because they don't understand. But perhaps does not mean that she's far from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we find yang jadi penyakit, those who suffer from this are even people who pray daily, even people who pray daily and who did all the zikir and read the Quran and everything. But still, the depression can come in, right? You even have people who are good, who has good knowledge in religion, who are practicing, but after some time they veer off somewhere, right? They are not under any what do you call it, stress. They are not under any what do you call it, trauma. But then sometimes you become involved in lagha. It gets you until the time when Allah make it you realize that you've gone far away from you. You come back. So sometimes there is not a sure measurement that because you have because you are far away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are not well mentally, right? But we can say that uh, the for a believer, for a non-believer is something else. For a non-believer is something else. I say, for example, right? If uh, somebody do a big sin, right, like zina, right, like robbing, like taking rashwa, stealing from the university, stealing from an organization, they will feel that this world is very narrow. There is something in them. The English, in English or psychology call them the conscience, right? They will feel that they have done something wrong. That is because there is still faith and iman in their heart. Iman in whatever they believe. If they're Christian, they believe in their God and so on and so forth. And for Islam, if they still believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will not be comfortable. So they will be not at ease, they will not have serenity, and until they accept that they have done this sin and they have to come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, seek his forgiveness, make tawbah. In that sense, a person with a strong relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have a greater chance to deal with the different challenges that they have, to the extent that whatever challenges, whatever tests that come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will still be able to face it and be in a mind that is still peaceful, and a mind that is still able to decide, and also with a heart that is at peace with the Lord. So if we want to have an, a reflection about this, is what mentioned by Al-Ghazali, Imam Al-Ghazali, and about the levels of Iman. The levels of Iman when facing stressors, including the test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All right. So he said the lowest level of a believer is that when tested by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with tribulations and with bala, he will say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, that we are unto Allah and unto Him we will return, and we have great patience, sabr. If you don't have sabr, you shout, you become stressed, you start disturbing other people, you start hitting out, and so on and so forth. You cannot control your emotion, you cannot control your action. Then there, you have to question whether you have belief in Allah or not. So that is the condition of Iman. So you don't have sabr, then your Iman is questionable. Right? So the lowest would be that you have sabr. Okay? And you have sabr, Al-Ghazali said, you will gain, it is also a good position, although it's the lowest position, you will gain, you are sad, because this thing happened to you, but still you say, Inna lillahi, we are unto Allah, and then we go back to Him. So, I'll just have great passion. You'll be rewarded, as Allah said in the Holy Quran, Innama yuwaffas sabiruna ajruhum bighayri hisab. Surely what? Innama, surely what? Surely what that is coming. Right? Surely what that is coming, that is, that the patient people, the patient will be rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with rewards without any measurement. Allah will not count the rewards that He's going to give to those who are patient. He just gives and gives and gives. Okay, that is the lowest position. The higher position in this is the person when tested, tribulation, bala, he will not or she will not be happy, and she will not be sad. Biasa je. Why? Because, oh Allah, inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Oh Allah, yours is the power and I don't have any power. Yours is the decision, the irada, and I cannot decide anything. I decide something, you decide something else, your decision is going to happen. So as such, I'm leaving this to you. If you decree it's like that, it's like that. You're testing me, I accept. Right? So there is the mufawwid. The mufawwid is one who has given his share or his destiny to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let Allah decide. Okay? So this is the mufawwid. So kalau anak dara cakap kat ibu dia, ibu carilah, tak apalah, saya terima je lah. Itu mufawwid lah. Alright? Itu mufawwid. Begitu jugalah anak lelaki pun. Kalau dia suruh mak dia lah cari je lah. Itu dia dah wakilkan. So yang mufawwid is higher because he has left his decision what he want to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he just accept what Allah has decided for him. Right? But the highest position, right? The highest position is the position of the one who is in love with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The ashiq. The one who wants to meet Allah because he loves Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He loves Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when they are tested, they say, Inna lillahi wa ilayhi raji'un. Alhamdulillah, ya Allah. Now I'm very sure, double sure, that you love me, because only lovers test their beloved. Should I say it again? Only lovers will test their beloved. If they don't love, they don't care, they're not testing. But when they love, they will test the beloved. This is the way things are. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests you with things, and you're happy because now you're confident, you're more confident, you have greater yaqeen, Allah loves you. You just take it, Ya Allah, Alhamdulillah, you're testing me, and I know you love me that much. So I will take it, and I will just carry on. So this is the way of the iman with that relation. So imagine if your relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is even one of the three, the strength of that relation will always, make you triumphant over any challenges, any uh, what they call it, position, or any bala that has come down upon you. Bala means basically test, right? So when we mention about that iman, I hope you have realized that this is the part where modern psychology do not really talk about the spiritual part of it, right? The spiritual part, the sudut kerohanian, right? Spiritual part. And Alhamdulillah, I think our university will be proposing to the United Nations the 18 SDG, the Sustainable Development Goal, which is the goal of spirituality. We are saying that all human beings, all insan has the spiritual dimension. And up to now, the human being, because of the development of the Western atheistic, materialistic, secularist worldview, they have taken away from the characteristic of insan, the spiritual aspect. So to get more knowledge about what is insan, if we see in our university now, in our Sejahtera academic framework, we were saying humanizing education. But then when we say it to the Western people, they are thinking of human being made up of the cognitive aspect, which is the thinking aspect, the brain aspect, the mind aspect, and then they have the affective aspect, right, in psychology, which is the aspect of emotions, the aspect of love, the aspect of the intangible part of the human being. Now, when you ask the psychologist, where is the side of these feelings? They still say that it is in the mind. But when asked about, I mean, you are not feeling what they call it, sad, right? You're feeling sad. You're not thinking sad. If you say feeling is in the mind, does that mean just like thinking? They're not sure now, right? They say that if you have a certain thing and it happens in your mind, then your mind will give order to your endocrine system, and they will secrete hormones that make you sad. So I'm asking as well, you start with being sad first, or you start with hormones coming out first? Your mother died. Are you waiting for the hormones to come out and then you become sad? Or the fact that you see your mom dying in front of you, you're sad. This is different. Both my mom and dad died in front of me. I did not cry at that time. Perhaps the situation is that I have to deal with it. I will cry the day after. Okay. The sadness is being kept. Things are done. Once they are buried safely, that is when I have my crying hour. Okay. So is that because of thinking about it? So still we cannot answer, right? So when we look back at our Islamic heritage, the Western heritage, the Andalusian, Ibn Khaldun talk about it, but then Al-Ghazali, the Eastern heritage, has talked about it. I'm talking to you about Eastern heritage, Western heritage, because there are some differences sometimes, right? Some differences. For example, in the field of Maqasid Sharia, the Eastern heritage says that it is the preservation of the five things: the religion, the soul, the mind, the wealth, and the lineage. But the Western heritage is asking about Is it just preservation, or we must develop each part? Wealth, you have to develop it, not just prevent it from being wasted. You have to develop the wealth so that it can run and other people can become rich. Your mind is not just preventing it, preserving it, that it didn't become bad, but you must develop your mind. You must get to the optimum until you can see the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you see the differences? So Ibn Khaldun talk about it, and Al-Ghazali before him talk that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given insan. You see, I like to use the word insan rather than homo sapiens, human being. Human being, homo sapiens, you tend to have this a little bit of connection with Darwinian evolution theory. All right, that we before we are Homo sapien, we were Homo habilis, and before that we were Homo erectus, and before that we were primates. So this one, of course, the Nobel Prize winner in biology, in who discovered the DNA helix, they said it's impossible to evolve from one species to another. However, that is why I'm more comfortable with using the word insan, because the Quranic term insan, all right, connotes number one, that it is Khalifa, and number two, the origin of insan itself. If we say Adam alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that about the creation of Adam from clay and so on, and then we blew upon it, we blew into it, وَنَفَخْنَا فِيهِ بِرُوحٍ minna, or min ruhina, that we blew into it from our spirit, a spirit from us, that is the soul, and then they become alive. The same thing when we are being procreated in the womb of our mothers, come to a certain week, 36 I think, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send the spirit in, and then we are become summa ansha'nahu khalqan akhar, then we make it into a different creature, another creation, alive now. When the soul or the spirit comes out, then you die. It's as simple as that. Okay, so Al-Ghazali mentioned that Allah has given the insan 5 malikat, 5 bestowment. The first one is your own body, your own physical body, the vessel. And then Allah bestow upon you the mind, your akal, there, situated in your brain. And then the third one Allah has given to you, your qalb, which is the heart. People before were talking about the spiritual heart, right? But perhaps now there will be divergence, there will be convergence between the science and the review, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in the Holy Quran that لا تعمى الأبصار ولكن تعمى القلوب في الصدور. It is not the eye that become blind, it is the heart that is in the hearts that become blinded. So number 3 is the heart, and number 4 is the self. This is where the nafs, this is where you have the nafs al-ammaratun bisu, the nafs that is always telling you, the self that's pushing you to do bad, and then the opposite of it, an-nafs al-lawama, the self that is always the conscience calling you back. And in the end, when things are balanced, you have control over your what you call nafs al-amara, then you become nafs al-mutma'inna. That is when you have your mental well-being, the spiritual well-being as well. Is how you achieve that. And inshallah, we will go after this into how to get this thing. So the idea of having internal serenity, the mind knows what is good, what is bad. You know, a challenge come, something come, you have to study, you know that, and so on and so forth. Yet your heart has not accepted it, it's not convinced about it, so you're not going to do it, right? So in the end, you get in Arabic we call maznuk. You get your noose being tightened. The date for submission of the assignment is coming, another 2 or 3 days, you still haven't done anything yet. Then you become very stressed, right? Whereas if you have followed that, I would become stressed later on that I don't want to go through that experience again year after year after year. Then you have to be prepared for it. Okay, so you have dealt with it. Then your heart push that you must believe in it, right? It's when the heart has accepted that it is a very great risk for you to leave it towards the end, then you will do. Before the weeks before the submission of the assignment, you have done sikit, slowly, that you will not be pressured towards the end. So then the last, after the last bestowment that Allah has given to you, in Arabic they call it the Malikat al-Khamsa, the 5 forces that you have inside you. You have the Ruh, your spirit. And as far as Ruh is concerned, Al-Quran told us that the Ruh, the progenies of Adam alayhi salam, which the Ruh, has been taken from their backs, and we have been collected, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked us to bear witness. Alas to be Rabbikum, I am not your Lord. We have borne witness. We said, Bala, all of us, our spirit. We said, yes, O Lord. So Allah has asked us to bear witness, all of us all together, in front of Him, such that kaila yakunu hujjatan, right? So that they will not have any hujjah anymore, saying that we do not know about this. Our soul knows Allah. Our soul know about what. So that is why, whoever is insan and they have a soul, they will always feel bad when they do bad things. They don't feel, a normal human being, unless he has been skewed towards evil, then it becomes he enjoy or she enjoy doing bad things. So those are the 5 malikat or the 5 bestowment that we have to take care of. So you see, if you are not healthy, right, your body is sick. So even coming to class, you feel sleepy. If you don't have enough sleep, then your body gets weaker and weaker. That's just a natural thing. So you have to take care of your physical body first. So that's why they say al-aql salim fi jismi salim, right? Your mind can work better if you are healthy. Then you have your mind. You must trust your mind to think what is best for you and finding the proof of things, finding to get to the truth and so on. But more important than that is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not look at your appearance or at your form. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah la yanzuru ila suwarikum wa la ila asamikum walakin yanzuru ila qulubikum wa amalikum. But He look into your heart and the amal and your action. So the mind says something, the mind decided this is good, this is bad, but only when there is conviction in the heart, right? Passing send to all fitnah, a news that you do not know whether it's right or wrong, is wrong. Because it might be mengumpat or it might be sending out fitnah. And then you say sending to all. So imagine it is a fitnah. You send to thousands of people. How are you going to cover by seeking, what they call it, to get the what they call it, forgiveness from the person that you did the fitnah? Right? You have tell 1,000 people, send to all. So, and then, you have to ask for everyone. You have to tell everyone, no, what I said last time, what I sent to you is fitnah. Do we do that? Usually you just forget about it. And please know, in Yawmul Qiyamah, Allah will tell the person who was oppressed through the fitnah, go and claim from this person because he or she has sent it to the rest. Go and claim from this person. So those who are being oppressed, yang dizalimi, akan ada hak, they will have the right to claim. And the claimant on that day will be the claim of good deeds, pahala yang diklaim. You cannot pay with other things. So that is one of the things that we should take care of. And we have the five bestowment. The body must be there. The mind must be healthy. You have to take care of it, of your mind. The riza, the food of the mind is thinking, right? Thinking sharper and getting sharper, get more knowledge, fill it with more rizzi, more nutrient in terms of knowledge, and then you can think wider and think deeper. Then you have your heart, which need to be cleansed of all the uh, evil or negative feelings or negative ideas or negative belief. This is called tazkiyah to nafs. So basically, the purification of the self, which is the purification of the heart. And then listen to your ruh when sometimes you feel that it's reminding you, right? Usually the nafs al-lawama is being instigated by the ruh. And also take control of your nafs, of your passion, of your emotions. And because as Ghazali term it as a nafs is just like a wild horse. You let it run, it bring you all around. But if you have to bridle it, you have to bridle it strongly. Hold it on a short rein, right? So you have to control it with the saga or with the sagaciousness of the mind, and you have to have a strong heart to put it under your yoke. That your nerves is always following what you want, and what you want is to be a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and follow. I do not mean that being a slave of Allah means you outwardly practice Islam, but inwardly something else. The test is easy. As for the boys, when you pray Salat al-Jama'ah, you feel a certain way. But when you pray on your own, if you start taking shortcuts, then there's something wrong. There is something wrong with your iman with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you pray 1 minute, 2 minutes on your own, and when you go to your mosque, you are willing to do sunnah even after doing the wajib. So then there's something wrong. That means there in the mosque, why are you doing this long? Why are you doing something like that? Is it because you feel Allah in the mosque, and then in your hostel you don't have Allah? Is that what your iman is saying? So these are the things that among the things that we can test. The same thing for sisters. You know, whenever you do something good, and if it is alone, are you having that still the ikhlas to do that something good, or it's only when you're with friends you want to do something good? So that is why it was said that if you give something, it is best. The best sadaqah is the one that the right hand give, the left hand doesn't know about it. That means you give with your right hand, then you forget about it, right? You don't have to tell to other people and so on. So that is basically the areas where you have to take care of to get the uh, what they call it, the well-being in your the what they call the mental well-being. Always say the spiritual well-being as well. So for us in our university, when we say that we are in Sejahtera, that we are becoming insan kamil, the complete man, is when all is balanced, right? Spiritually, physically, you are strong. Mentally, you have a strong mental attitude, a strong mental capacity to think, and mental capacity to read, and so on and so forth to get knowledge. And you have a strong heart in the belief with conviction that you're going to do it, right? And you control the emotions and the nafsu that you have. Okay, so now we are left with what? Yes, just because we got the time, I would just like to give about what sort of practices. How do we get this? Right? Sorry, sisters, but I'm rushing for time, right?
It's okay, that's a very lengthy and complete answer actually.
Uh,
So, so since have very limited of time before we proceed to Q&A session, I have a question that I hope Ustaz can conclude in 5 minutes.
uh-huh.
Okay, so how do we remind ourselves constantly about the how do we remind ourselves about the purpose of living when we feel we are far from God, and how do we get back on track?
Okay. The as far as distance is concerned, of course, between Allah and us, there's no such thing as distance. All right. And and the thing is that we have knowledge first. What sort of knowledge do we have about Allah Subhanahu wa Taala? All right. And I was mentioning just now about the three phases of Iman, not the three levels of Iman. So of course, basically within the different levels of Iman, the concept about Allah, basically they know is one, and the realization, the conviction in their heart that Allah, the one, the most powerful, who has His one, and also has this His power, His qudra to do anything. One have sabr, he's sad, have sabr. The other one has acceptance. The other one is happy because his Allah is one that is the greatest lover. So because of that, he tested, right? Because he loves his slave. So how? First and foremost, our concept of who Allah is, right? That in the mind, his sifat, his asma, and so on and so forth. Number two, gaining that conviction in our heart, gaining the keyakinan, conviction in our heart about He is always with us. Right? That is why Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said the position of ihsan is that you worship Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Now, when we say worship Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, usually we are thinking about what they call it, doing the prayer, filling the prayer, doing the khususiyah, because this has been commanded by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. And then we sort of become secular. Once we have done that, we have completed our tanggung jawab, our responsibility. Outside of that, we can relax, yeah. But no, if the Shaheed Said Ramadan al-Buti, he reminded us in the Sharah of Kitab Al-Hikam, the Ibn Ata'Allah al-Skandari, in one of his speeches, he said, my brother, know that you are a slave who has a master. You are not a free slave. You are a slave who has a master. And your master is Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And your worship is to fulfill what your master wants. Okay? Your worship is to fulfill what your master wants. Since you have a master, you must always follow him. Okay? You want to buy your sneakers. You have Vans that cost you about 300 ringgit, a good Vans sneaker. Or you have a Bata sneaker which is less. About what, 60 ringgit, 70 ringgit? Okay? So you have the money. You come from a rich family. You even have a car. So van is nothing to you. All right? But then when you ask Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, then you remember that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala wants the people to give to others, to do good by giving to others. And even when Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala told us in the Quran, those who died, they want to come back. Those who have Allah has just taken their life. They said, Laula akhartani ila ajalin qarib. If only you have postponed it a bit, just a bit, qarib, just a bit, so that I have the opportunity for a sadaqah, so that I can give sadaqah, fa akun minas salihin. Then I become among the pious. So here, the idea that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Master, as He is Rahmah given to you, He wants you to have that as well. So you should be also having Rahmah to the rest and giving. How many of us has given to our brothers and sisters in Palestine? How much do we give? Right? When Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for Tabuk, he asked the Sahaba that we need money, we need finance to go to this Ghazwa. You see, the 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 bracelets, the necklaces, the rings flying from the back of the soft into the what they call it, the shawl of Bilal Bilal radiallahu anhu. So the ladies were throwing all their what they call it, precious things into that. And then when you ask Abdurrahman ibn Auf, how much did you give? Do you leave for your family? He said the same amount that I'm bringing here. And Abdurrahman ibn Auf is very rich. When he asked Omar, when I asked Abu Bakr, Abu Bakr said, I left with them Allah and His Rasul. So that's the different thing about Abu Bakr. They give everything they have. Osman, he prepared 1,000 cavalry soldiers, 1,000 soldiers on horses, plus all the weapons and so on and so forth. And Rasulullah said to him, with this, you can enter Jannah from whichever door you want. So giving to others is also something that will purify you, that will confirm that you are a slave who are following a master, right? So this is what we need to have, that relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One, we have that strong relation, what are you going to be afraid of, right? You go to ICC in the middle of the night, are you afraid of the jinn or afraid of the people? Right? Right? When you have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taking care of you. You see, our brothers and sisters, are they afraid anymore of the bombs and the bullets? Of course, they don't go to themselves to kill themselves, but then they already have trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah wants to take them, shaheed. And shaheed are alive. Right? If Allah doesn't take them, they will still be alive. So this is the thing. That position, that keyakinan, that conviction that we need is such that whatever challenges come, we stop there. We have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we carry on. Allah would like us to struggle and to get to the best that we can get. That is our struggle, you know. He gave us the mind for us to think. He gave us our heart to make us strong. And we are supposed to achieve at the best that we can. Right? Whether in study, whether in life, and whether in richness, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that is what you get from sejahtera well-being. What you get from a healthy, what do you call it, not only mental health, but rather mental well-being. And I would say not mental well-being, a complete well-being of the 5 bestowments that Allah has given. We have done to the best in every areas, then that means there is a complete well-being. And we become insan and kamil. This is what our Prime Minister has been talking about. He mentioned insan kamil in 1994, in 1995. I remember his talk. Are you born already in 1995? So he is not someone new. He's a long time ago, right? Long time ago. Okay. The first time I met him, he was the Minister of Agriculture, and I met him face to face in Sudan sometime in 1982. So I'm not sure whether your father and mother has got married yet. I don't think so. Okay, so that's it. My celote for tonight. Any other question? We have a few time. Kalau ada lagi, about 5 minutes.
Yeah, yes, thank you for your celote, Ustaz. So now, since we have a few minutes more, we're opening the Q&A session. So for the audiences that have question, you may ask Ustaz right now.
Ustaz.
Dah.
Ustaz, I have one question. Can you share with us one surah that can make someone feel calm when they are stressed or confused in their life?
One surah. Actually, the surah that is, to me, that is most handy and powerful, right, is Surah Wadduha, which everyone basically memorize, inshallah. And Wadduha, because some people have other surah like that, the same saying that about وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْكُمْ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ, then we are near to you, closer than your artery, and so on and so forth. But Wadduha is because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was in the Am al-Huzn, in the year of sadness, and also there is Fatratul Wahyu. Wahyu has not come to him for a few months, and the Kuffar Quraysh were ridiculing him. You know, you see, we told you have trouble in the mind. You have been imagining things. Now there's no Allah anymore. There's no more. Where are the verses that you claim comes from Allah? So they have been ridiculing him, and he feels very narrow, feels very sad, and so on. Then this ayah came as if to what they call it, to entertain Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I'm not sure whether we have. I'll try my best as soon as possible. Wadduha. So it is from dot, the Lughatul dot, the essence of Arabic language itself. The people call it Lughatul Arabiya, Lughatul dot. Wadduha is one of the strong word, right? It's a strong huruf. So it is from a strong, tough, shadid position, a tight position, and then it's going ha from the halak, it comes out. So it is like there is going to be tanaffus, there's going to be something to be let go, and you become freer. Wadduha wallayli iza saja. There is the heat of holding tight, giving out, holding tight, or giving out. That is why Wadduha wallayli iza saja. And then it comes with that swearing of that nature of ranta, that nature of hits, and then come the explanation. Ma wadda'aka rabbuka wa ma qala. Ma wadda'aka rabbuka wa ma qala. That your Lord has never said goodbye to you. And he would never betray, leave you, mempersia-siakan kamu. Wa ma qala. Right? Walalakhiratu khairul. Walalakhirah. And surely what comes later in akhirah, far later, better than ula. Right? Wala sawfa yu'tika rabbuka fatarda. And we will give, your Lord will give to you in abundance, and you will become contented. That's it. This is what is being promised. Now it's reminding Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You put yourself there. Alam yajidka yatiman fa'awa. It's not that we found you a yatim. Who gave you the protection? It's us. We give you the protection. You haven't seen your father. Your first word is not Baba, Baba. Your first word might be Rabba, Rabba. Right? And then 6 years old, your mom died at night. You're so sad that you tell Ummu Ayman, Anta Ummi Ba'da Ummi. And Ummu Ayman is only about 10 years old. Then who put that love in your grandfather? That even wills in a meeting among the chieftain, he have never done it to his son. But when Muhammad come, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, walking, just passing by a small child, he will take you and put on his, what they call ribaan there, among the chieftain. And no one say anything. Who put all these things in the hearts of people? And then when he died, right? Who protected you? Your Pak Long. Al-Abbas, Abu Talib is Pak Long. Al-Abbas is Pak Su. So when people, the Quraysh come, Abu Talib, tell your nephew, so we are agree and so on. And when Abu Talib came and asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you should stop here, at least say something else. And he said, Wallahi, if they put the sun on my right and the moon on my left, I would never leave this da'wah. And when Abu Talib saw you like that, he said, my son, do what you have to do. I will always be at your back. I will always be to protecting you. So who put all this? Alam yajidka yatiman fa'awa. And yatim during the time of the Jahiliyyah, they even did not have the inheritance from their father. Their uncles would take it. Right? So وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى. And then as you grow older, you're trying to find what is the right path. You do not know what is the right path, right? And we give you the guidance. وَوَجَدَكَ عَائِلًا فَأَغْنَى. And you don't have anything. When somebody said, oh Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why don't you get married? Who will want me? I only have what is on my back. Selai sepinggang saja. And here come the richest lady. And she wanted you to be her husband. After two husbands, right? Both her husband died. And she died at the hands of the third husband. She died in the hands of the third husband, in the hands of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This rich lady who has given everything was well to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And even if you need my bones, oh my beloved, when I died, even if you need my bones, my beloved, take them out, use them. So this is Khadijah, right? So وَوَجَدَكَ عَائِلًا فَأَغْنَى. You were destitute, and who gave you, who makes you rich? By getting Khadijah. So this is why Wadduha, when I feel down, when you read it, the position how the Rasulullah was so down, and it is with this surah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought his prophet. Right? So when Ja'far as-Sadiq, I think one of the son of one of the tragedy, one of the keturunan, the descendant of Sayyidina Ali, was asked about what is the greatest ayat to the Ahlul Bayt. He said, "Wala sawfa yu'tika rabbuka fatarda." Your Lord will give to you in the hereafter, and you will be content with this. All right. So this is the surah. If you, in terms of the iqa'at, in terms of the ranta, it is something that will touch you. And we read together with the meaning, then we will realize when Sayyid Qutb said that the ijaz al-fanni of the Quran, the artistic miracle of the Quran is the exact fit between the heat of the sound and the heat of the meaning. The heat, I mean the ranta, the rhythm of the sound and the rhythm of the meaning. So that is the other part that we should be also be alive with when we read the Quran. The Quran is not a magical formula. You have to do the action. But Al Quran, reading it, feeling it, engrossed in the sounds in the Quran, then it will touch your heart, inshallah ta'ala, and bring salvation. And it's like a salve, it's like an ointment to something that is a wound that is very painful. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Ustaz. Sister Isa, I hope that answers your question. By the way, I'd like to take the chance to the participants. Kindly scan the QR code for the evaluation form that will be sent after this. Please scan both QR codes for the purpose of star point, okay? So, any more questions from any others? Prof? No? Prof Shamsina? Okay. With that being said, it marks the end of our talk. I hope that everyone enjoys this fruitful talk from Ustaz and benefits, if not all, maybe part of it. So thank you for joining and listening, everyone. A special thank you for our respected speaker, Dato'
My
Ustaz.
pleasure. Thank you for inviting.
Okay, thank you. So I would like to take the chance to seek apology for any wrongdoings or mistake along this talk tonight. So I'll pass back the floor to RMC. Good night and assalamualaikum, everyone. Bye.
Thank you
Dear
very
our
much.
beautiful
Dato'.
guests,
Well,
now we reach the end of our program tonight. Before we put this program to the end, let us celebrate with photography sessions. Everyone, please turn on your webcam and put your best smile. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the program has finally come into the end. Once again, thank you everyone for gracing this program with your presence. We would like to thank to the speaker, Ustaz Hamidon, for attending our tonight's sessions and sharing your thought and knowledge. We also would like to thank to all the participants for joining our program tonight and the program manager as well as the communities to make this program into reality. So before we ending our session, I would like to promote our upcoming program on this Thursday, which is Youth Empowerment, located at Main Audi at 8 p.m. until 10:30 p.m. We also invited our four panels, which are Wabi Hanayo, Dato' Muhammad Imran Tamrin, Kamil Munim, and also our alumni, Brother Nick Izzuddin Omari. So if you guys have any inquiries, you can directly ask us. And there is also MRC blasting the program through Mahala WhatsApp group. So I'm Nurul Iza binti Marafi. We would like to take the chance to seek apology for any wrongdoing and state out our session today. With that, we will end the program with Tasbih Kifara and Surah An-Nas.
Subhanakallah wa bihamdihi, asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Okay, assalamualaikum. Thank you.
Alright,
Thank you very much,
wassalamualaikum
Dato'.
warahmatullahi.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ustaz.
Thank you, Ustaz.
Thank
Thank you, everyone.
Good job. Thank you, everyone. Good job, moderator, MC. Pembaca doa mana? And also Fatihah. Okay, see you. InsyaAllah. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Good night, Doctor.
Good night.